GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Mark Beaumont. Pogacar's decision to skip the Montreal Grand Prix for the Vuelta a España has fans buzzing, while rain forced a pause at the National Bank Open men's matches. Traffic's light with only minor delays, and a new neighborhood meetup series is launching downtown. Over to you, Emma.
A local couple in the Mile End neighborhood has started weekly neighborhood meetups, gathering residents every Thursday evening at the St. Laurent Community Center.
The meetups feature a brief welcome, coffee and pastries, followed by open discussion on local initiatives such as park cleanups, block parties, and community garden projects.
Attendance has grown from 5 participants at the first session to over 30 regular members, with newcomers registering via a public Facebook event page.
We've got a full evening ahead, many stories to share, so without further delay, lots to get to, let's begin. Good evening, Montreal. Slovenian champion Tadej Pogacar will ride the Vuelta a España in late August, opting out of both the Quebec and Montreal Grand Prix events. Ramai Godreau has the full story.
Slovenian rider Tadej Pogacar is set to line up for the Vuelta a España, the 3-week Grand Tour that kicks off in Spain later this month, in late August 2026. His entry means he will not travel north to compete in the Grand Prix of Quebec or the Grand Prix of Montreal, both scheduled for the same weekend. Pogacar first burst onto the world stage in 2019, when he captured a surprise victory that put him on the radar of cycling fans worldwide. The decision to focus on the Vuelta comes as his team finalizes the summer race calendar, leaving the Canadian events without his presence for this year's season. Ramai Godreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Heavy rain has forced officials to suspend play on the men's courts at the National Bank Open this afternoon. The ATP Tour event, currently deep in its packed schedule, saw 2 matches halted as water pooled on the hard surface on the tournament's main courts. Tournament directors announced that the interruptions are ongoing, with officials monitoring conditions and working to clear the courts. Players and coaches were escorted off the courts while grounds crews deployed tarps and drainage equipment. Spectators were asked to remain in the stands as the weather persisted, and ticket holders were advised that rescheduling will be considered once the storm passes. The National Bank Open, a key stop on the tour, remains on track to complete its program, though the rain may compress remaining matches later this week.
The Rivière des Prairies, Pointe-aux-Trembles Borough Council voted early this morning to approve a new McDonald's restaurant on land that borders several residential properties. The decision came after the council reversed the strict siting conditions it had imposed last month, clearing the way for construction adjacent to homes. Council members said the revised plan meets zoning requirements, while the fast food chain confirmed it will move forward with building and hiring. The original plan required a 20-meter setback from any dwelling, which the council removed in the final vote. Nearby homeowners gathered at a community meeting later today to voice opposition, arguing the change does not reflect their interests and raises concerns about traffic, noise, and property values. The residents' backlash has been reported to the borough's office, and councillors indicated they will monitor the project's impact.
Quebec provincial police are urging motorists to exercise extra caution as the province's summer construction holiday draws to a close, warning that lingering work zones could increase collision risk this early August. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Construction crews are packing up sites across the province as the annual summer pause draws to a close. The Sûreté du Québec is urging motorists to slow down, keep a safe distance and stay alert while workers finish final touches on roadways. Officials say the lull in activity has left some lanes narrowed and signage temporarily removed, increasing the chance of rear-end crashes. Drivers are asked to obey any temporary speed limits and follow flaggers where they appear. Police will increase patrols in the coming weeks to monitor compliance and respond quickly to any incidents. The reminder comes as families head back to the highways for the final stretch of summer travel. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Investigators from the Northern Tornadoes Project arrived in Repentigny yesterday to assess damage after a severe thunderstorm swept the suburb. Teams combed the streets and examined debris, looking for telltale signs of a vortex such as a narrow damaged path, twisted trees, and lofted objects. Preliminary observations noted scattered uprooted trees and roof loss, but officials said a definitive tornado classification requires further analysis of radar data and on-site evidence. The storm struck Repentigny in the late afternoon, bringing down power lines and flooding several streets. Municipal emergency services coordinated evacuations and cleared debris throughout the night. The project, which tracks severe weather across the country, will compare the Repentigny event with its database of confirmed tornadoes to determine whether the storm indeed produced a tornado. Findings are expected to be released in the coming weeks, providing clarity on the storm's intensity and informing future emergency response protocols. From Quebecers' new desk heat sensors tracking hybrid work to rain halting the National Bank Open, stay tuned, we will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Good evening, Montreal. Quebecer has begun fitting heat sensors beneath desks across its Quebec divisions, a move aimed at tracking occupancy as hybrid work patterns take hold. The devices detect temperature changes that indicate a person is present, allowing the company to gather real-time data on which workstations are in use. Management says the information will help optimize space allocation, reduce unused desks, and better align office footprints with the flexible schedules many employees now follow. The rollout started early this morning, with installation crews moving through open-plan areas in Montreal and surrounding locations. Quebecer joins a growing number of employers turning to sensor technology to manage hybrid environments, hoping the data will inform future decisions on office layout and resource planning. Employees will receive guidance on the new system as the program expands.
Quebec faces up to 100 millimeters of rain by Tuesday, a weather system set to saturate rivers across several regions. Authorities are tracking river levels. Remy Gaudreau has the full story.
Rainfall is set to pour across much of the province, with meteorologists warning that some spots could see as much as 100 millimeters of rain by early Tuesday, August 4th. The deluge is moving in from the east, driven by a deep low-pressure system that's already drenched parts of the Outaouais and the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region. Rivers are expected to swell rapidly as the soil reaches saturation, prompting alerts in communities along the St. Lawrence and its tributaries. Emergency services are on standby, and local authorities have reminded residents to avoid low-lying roads. The forecast calls for continued heavy showers through the night, with a gradual tapering off by Wednesday morning. Remy Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Ariane Lalincette, a University of Calgary student athlete, took home the women's title at the Ottawa Ironman Triathlon yesterday, edging out a competitive field despite a heavy rain warning that lingered throughout the race. The grueling three-discipline event, held on a soggy course along the Rideau Canal and surrounding roads, tested swimmers, cyclists, and runners in challenging conditions. Kian Sunderji captured the men's championship, finishing ahead of his rivals as the storm gradually eased. Organizers confirmed the event proceeded safely, thanks to rapid course adjustments and extra safety crews. Spectators braved the drizzle, lining the waterfront to cheer the athletes as they battled the elements. Lalincette posted a personal best time in the marathon leg, while Sunderji posted a strong finish on the bike segment. Both athletes will join the upcoming national circuit, building on their strong performances in Ottawa.
Yesterday, a coordinated cyberattack hit the drinking water plant serving the municipality of St. Nile. Security logs show an organized Russian hacking group breached the facility's control systems at around 4:30 p.m. Eastern, prompting immediate isolation of the network. Provincial cybersecurity experts were called in, working through the night to contain the intrusion and verify that water quality remained unaffected. Officials confirmed no contamination was detected, but the incident exposed gaps in the town's digital defenses. The breach adds to a growing pattern of overseas actors targeting Canadian water infrastructure, raising concerns about the resilience of critical utilities. Municipal leaders have pledged to accelerate upgrades to their cybersecurity protocols, while federal agencies are reviewing broader protective measures for the province's water systems. The response was coordinated with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, which provided threat intelligence and forensic assistance throughout the investigation.
Local residents of Notre Dame de Grace have started a weekly neighborhood meetup to reconnect neighbors and ease isolation. a grassroots response to growing community loneliness. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
In the heart of Notre Dame de Grace, a local couple has begun hosting a weekly gathering at a community center on Saturday afternoons. Neighbors drift in from the surrounding streets, sharing coffee, games, and conversation as the pair aims to break down the sense of isolation that many urban residents have reported. The meetup, now in its third month, rotates between a potluck and a simple chat circle, encouraging anyone from young families to retirees to join. Organizers say the simple act of meeting face-to-face has already sparked new friendships and informal neighborly support, from sharing tools to watching each other's children. As the initiative gains momentum, other blocks in the borough are considering similar gatherings. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Notre Dame de Grace.
Now let's turn to the weather team for a quick look at tonight's conditions.
A deep low-pressure trough, steered by a swift southern jet, is reshaping tonight's Montreal sky. On this date, the all-time high reached 31.1 degrees Celsius in 2024, a spike that rode the tail end of a late summer heat wave. The record low of 12.7 degrees, set in 2022, occurred during an unseasonal Arctic blast that plunged the city well below its normal nighttime range. By contrast, the climatological average high sits around 24 degrees and the average low near 16, underscoring how today's temperatures sit comfortably between those extremes. The live radar paints a narrow band of rain marching east-northeast across the South Shore, arriving over the island at roughly 7 p.m. and peaking near 7:15. The system is being pushed by the strong southern jet, which will shear it off by 8 p.m., leaving a clear sky over downtown Montreal. With the jet stream aloft and the low-pressure center beginning to lift, the atmosphere is stabilizing, so we turn now to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m. Montreal sits under thick overcast with a temperature of 21 degrees and humidity at 86%. A low-pressure center is still present but slowly rising, allowing high pressure to encroach from the west and quiet the winds. The jet stream overhead, flowing at 188 kilometers per hour from the south, is funneling the lingering moisture away, which is why rain will taper off by 8 p.m. The UV index reads 6, and the maximum wind will be 32 kilometers per hour from the southwest, feeling brisk but not hazardous. No weather alerts are in effect. With the pressure gradient easing, the night will remain cool, dipping to 16 degrees by sunrise. Tuesday opens with clear skies and a high of 25 degrees, dropping to 15 overnight as high pressure builds. Wednesday stays dry, pushing the high to 28 degrees and a low of 16, thanks to a persistent ridge aloft. Thursday sees the ridge weaken, bringing overcast conditions and a 55% chance of rain, with a high of 27 and a low of 21 as the low pressure nudges east. Friday remains overcast but drier, 27 degrees high and 22 low, with only a 20% rain chance. Saturday continues the cool, moist pattern, overcast with a 50% rain probability, high 25 and low 22. The jet stream will oscillate between southern and southwestern flow, modulating temperature swings and precipitation chances through the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's light today. The Canadians just signed Schubert and the Nurem spotlight heats up. More details after the break. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Eastbound traffic on Route 136 is closed at Exit 3 near Guy Street, diverting vehicles onto Rue St. Laurent and the Ville-Marie Tunnel. Expect queues of up to 15 minutes on Rue St. Laurent and the downtown corridor. In the east, Boulevard de l'Acadie remains a major bottleneck with lane reductions and slow-moving traffic. Drivers should allow extra 10 minutes and consider using Avenue des Canadiens de Montreal as an alternate. Rue Saint-Urbain also reports major congestion, especially around St. Laurent and St. Denis, where travel times can double. Minor slowdowns persist on the A13 service road and Boulevard Lacordaire, though traffic is moving. All other major arteries, including the Daiquiri and the Champlain, are clear. Drivers heading west on the Trans-Canada should monitor the downtown exit for lingering backups and consider the southbound on-ramp to the Jacques Cartier Bridge. No transit disruptions this afternoon, so subway and bus routes run on schedule. Keep an eye on updates if you travel through the downtown core.
National Bank Open kicks off today at IGA Stadium, with the men's first-round matches on Rogers Court and the women's on Court Central, a rare chance to see world-ranked players on home soil before the heat of later rounds. Cirque Mondial rolls into the Grand Chapiteau in Longueuil, delivering daring aerial acts and theatrical wonder. It blends classic big-top thrills with contemporary storytelling, perfect for families seeking a night out. Starting tomorrow, the International First Peoples Festival lights up Place des Festivals for 10 days of indigenous music, dance, film, and cuisine, offering a deep dive into creativity that broadens our city's cultural palette. Later this week, the Old Port will pulse with African rhythms at Festival Afro-Monde, and anime fans can converge at Ottacuthan in the Palais des Congrès, promising a weekend of music, art, and community for anyone craving vibrant street celebrations. And now here's Jason with sports.
Habs make moves, spotlight prospects, and eye the future of Montreal hockey. The Canadiens have added defenseman Maximilian Schubert on a one-year, two-way deal, bolstering their blue line depth. His contract gives the club flexibility to shuffle him between the NHL roster and the AHL, creating competition for limited spots and insurance against injuries as the season unfolds. Montreal acquired Schubert from the Utah Mammoth in exchange for forward Joshua Roy, then locked him into a one-year, two-way contract. The move adds a right-handed blue liner while freeing a roster spot for Roy's development, signaling a strategic shuffle of depth assets heading into training camp. The Habs' 17th annual Top 25 Under-25 series launches today, spotlighting 55 young Canadiens prospects born after September 15, 2001. This deep pool ties last year's total, giving fans a preview of which emerging talents could crack the NHL roster and shape Montreal's future core. Analysts are weighing whether veteran winger Rickard Rakell could serve as a short-term answer until prospect Michael Hage is NHL ready. Rakell's experience offers immediate depth on the right wing, while Hage continues his development, giving the Canadiens a flexible option as they fine-tune the forward lineup. Goaltender Jacob Dobish returned to Montreal, declaring 4 more years dedicated to one goal, winning the Stanley Cup. His statement underscores a renewed commitment from a key netminder, signaling that the Habs expect his presence to anchor the team's championship push this season and beyond. The Habs are already eyeing the 2027 NHL draft, identifying 3 prospects they could target to reinforce the roster. Scouting reports highlight a blend of speed, size, and skill, suggesting the club aims to inject fresh talent that aligns with its long-term rebuilding blueprint.
Nurem, the kosher restaurant on Avenue du Parc in the Côte des Neiges, Notre Dame de Glace borough, has been gutted by a fire that police are treating as arson. The blaze left the kitchen and dining room reduced to char, halting the vibrant spot where families gather for traditional dishes and holiday celebrations. Community members are shaken, especially after a recent vehicle fire at a nearby mosque heightened tensions across the neighborhood. Authorities have not yet determined a motive, but the incident underscores a growing sense of vulnerability among Montreal's diverse faith communities. Nurem has long been a culinary bridge, offering a taste of heritage that keeps the city's cultural mosaic rich and alive. For many Montrealers, Nurem is a restaurant. It's a place where meals keep neighborhoods connected. Later, a bite from a park tick surprises a picnicker in La Fontaine, and firefighters head west to battle BC wildfires. Stay tuned.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. A Montreal resident returned from a picnic in La Fontaine Park yesterday only to discover a tick bite, highlighting the prevalence of ticks in city parks and potential disease risk. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
A Montreal resident returned from a family picnic in La Fontaine Park on Tuesday, August 2, 2026, only to discover a tick attached to their leg. The bite was reported at the park's main entrance, where the individual sought help from a nearby first aid station. Medical staff removed the engorged tick and advised a short observation period for potential symptoms. Health officials remind park-goers that ticks are a regular presence in city green spaces and can latch on during outdoor activities, carrying a risk of disease transmission if left unchecked. They recommend checking clothing and skin after any time spent in grassy or wooded areas. Remai Gaudreau, GMNA News, La Fontaine Park.
SOPFEU has dispatched 60 firefighters from Quebec to British Columbia to combat forest fires, while Quebec reports 110 active blazes as its own wildfire situation steadies. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
60 SOPFEU firefighters have been dispatched from Quebec to British Columbia, joining crews battling a series of forest blazes across the western province. The deployment began on August 2, 2026, as the western fires intensified. The move comes as Quebec's own wildfire picture eases, though provincial officials say 110 fires are still burning across the province. While the British Columbia fires continue to threaten timber and communities, the Quebec crews are set up at a staging area near the front lines, ready to rotate into hot spots. Meanwhile, Quebec's fire management teams are focusing on containment and protecting populated areas as the overall situation stabilizes. The cooperation underscores the inter-provincial effort to curb the summer's blaze season. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for tuning in. Tonight's highlight, Ariane Lalenset's thrilling Ironman victory in Ottawa, reminded us all what perseverance looks like. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our city. Stay curious, stay safe, and see you bright and early on the local sunset as the sun sets.